the only way like get by in the world is just to like hurt them before they hurt you. And my friend, like, he sent me the link. He's like, yo, like, somebody's trying to cancel you. And I'm like, bro, I was like, this, you know, people have posted on me on Twitter before. Like, I've been trying to get canceled. You know, I'm undefeatable, right? I had that. Yeah, I'm undefeatable, right? Go to sleep. Wake up the next morning. It has 100,000 views, bro. I'm like, what? And my TikTok is getting like spammed with, you don't know, maybe she got honor killed. You're a horrible person. This is why brown men deserve the death penalty. And I was like, just like, I'm not gonna name names, but somebody from like my own family did not like me at that point, and they took that like moment to take it and run with it. So they made a tweet about me, calling me like when I saw that tweet, I was around my friends, and they were like, yo, what the hell? Like, it was just like, why would somebody try to lie on my name like this, right?
Yeah.
And basically, they said they were like, you fake praise in front of aunties, and I was like, yo, what? Right? It was like, why would somebody like try to bash on my name? But alhamdulillah, like, my friends had my back. They would always be like, yo, you're that guy who got canceled. I'm like, yeah. This type of, I guess, fan base, right? These type of people follow me. Like, the value that my accounts hold today, I guess.
I had to hate myself in order to love myself. Stop being a bum. Stop giving yourself excuses. Get up and go to the gym, because I know you got it in you. Everybody has it in them. Find that person buried deep inside of you, because I did, and I know you guys can. I love you. Mwah.
Welcome to one of the first episodes of the Brown Hustle. Today we're with TheBrownHustle. We're going to talk about multiple topics, from immigrant parents, gym for mental health and personal development. I'm Hamza, and with me is a TikTok maverick, TheBrownHustle. So, BrownHoudini, just give a quick intro about yourself.
Assalamu alaikum, guys. My name's Daniyaal. I live in Virginia, or Northern Virginia, basically, and I'm Muslim, but I was born in Pakistan, but I practically grew up here, so everything I know is from here, and, you know, we go back and visit, but yeah, so I'm basically a first-gen immigrant.
Wow, I mean, that's interesting. How you found that?
I mean, it's not bad since I completely grew up here. It hasn't really been hard, like, blending in. Obviously, there's like different cultural norms, and you figure that out by like being around different classmates. When you share about experiences, you realize how yours are a lot different than theirs, who were kind of just completely raised in American culture. But other than that, I mean, it's not that hard to adapt once you just start to know how to fit in, I guess.
Yeah, I guess it makes sense. I mean, I think it's the same around here. What made you start TikTok? Because I saw your YouTube and it was like the start of the BrownHoudini or the something like that. You had some YouTube. So what made you start TikTok? What made you start?
So honestly, I started TikTok because, well, okay, I'm gonna be completely honest. I'm a very, very competitive person, right? Like, extremely competitive. Like, I'll be competitive in the things that I don't need to even be competitive in. So first, I was on TikTok. I was like, oh, you know, people blow up off of here, so like, let me try, right? And then like, I saw a couple of my friends at school blowing up, and I was like, you know what, like now I have to blow up, right? So then I started like posting consistently, and then, but it was at that point, it was just kind of like me doing trends or me doing dances or trying to be like everybody else, right? And like, I just didn't like that. And then one random night, I was at Dunkin', and I mean, I had a few like viral ones, but they were stupid, right? Like, they had no meaning to them. It was just like a song or whatever, right?
Yeah, this is normal trends.
Yeah, so I didn't really like. I was like, this isn't me, right? So then one day, like right after Dunkin', I just recorded a video, and I think I was just in my feelings or something. But I just spoke from like what I wanted to say, right? And then that video blew up. Like, I was like, oh, okay, and like, it was just me talking. There was no special effects. It was just me and my voice, right? And then the next night, like, another topic that was on my heart, I made another video about it. That blew up, right? And another topic, and it just became like that. And then eventually, like, that's how my page just kind of gained traction and kept going.
Posting what you think matters. Okay, that makes sense. I mean, did you like, what did anyone like? Did anyone motivate you to start it, or you started because of competitiveness and you just like, wow, it works, so you just continued it?
No, honestly, like, okay, so my overall goal, like, in life in general, is to be a motivational public speaker, right? So it's like, at the time when you look at the tools that you have around you, TikTok is a very good platform to at least start off on. Like, obviously, unless you're like in the millions of followers, you're not going to make a lot of money from the creator fund, right? So like, it's a good platform to start off of, to like make connections, meet people, possibly get on stages and such. So that's why I started it, right? But the thing was, I wanted to be a motivational speaker, right? The content that I was necessarily putting out wasn't kind of like, they were like, I was blowing up, but it wasn't the content that I necessarily everything that I wanted to put out, because at one point, right, like I kind of, I don't know, like if you were following me during this time or if you do, but
Oh yeah, to be fair, I think I followed you. Not from the start, but I remember those Toxic Chronicles.
yeah,
That's when I started. Yeah, that's when
yeah.
I saw it. And then I saw you one time just post some motivational stuff. I was like, wow, he's really changed his stuff. So I mean, talk to me more about that. What was the process between that? How did you start with the toxic stuff? How did you
So,
develop into a motivational kind of like speaker on TikTok?
so I guess like it was during my, I guess just chaotic phase, and at the time, like I wasn't like the changes you've seen now. Like I wasn't always this type of person. Like it's kind of like versus what I wanted to be versus who I was trying to be. And I don't know. At that point, we're just like it was just a point in my time where like I was like the only way like get by in the world is just to like hurt them before they hurt you, right?
Yeah, yeah,
And it was just it always like worked like that. So that's who I was trying to be. And then also like the content getting a lot of traction. Like that's where I got like a lot of my followers from, right? But
mm,
like with that coming said, I was like people at my own school were trying to cancel me. Not my friends, like they were just random
wow,
people. I guess either they didn't like me or whatever it was, right? They tried canceling me, and like I was gaining like a bad reputation, right? And I was
yeah,
like, is this really what I want to do, right? Like I can't be a motivational speaker and have this type of I guess fan base, right? Or these type of people follow
yeah,
me. So at that point, I decided, you know what, I'm gonna make a change. And originally, I would sometimes post motivational content on that page, but like it's kind of hard to just like you have a fan base for a certain thing, and then you just change your content. Like you're not gonna have that same fan base support you, right? So then,
exactly, yeah, no,
so
100%.
then I made a motivational account, right?
But yeah, so your fan base was obviously toxic, and
Yeah. So I didn't like
you
that,
created a
right?
new
So
account.
all right, so then I made a second account, right? Completely like I think I promoted it in like one video. I was like, oh, this is gonna be my motivational account. Go follow it. So then I started posting, and that gained traction like not fast, but like relatively quickly, right? And it was just motivational
Mm,
content. I wasn't being toxic. I wasn't trying to hurt anybody, right? And that blew up, right? I got to like 70K. And then that was like, I was like, all right, this is what I'm doing like from my heart, right? And nobody can say like, oh, this is because of this, or like take that accomplishment away from me, right? And
yeah,
then
because it's for
I got
you.
a new phone, and then I guess since I like quickly made that account like a backup account, so like whatever login I used, I completely forgot it, right? So I was like, oh, so I couldn't get back into that
Oh,
account. So I was hurt, but I was like, all right, I got to do something. So then
yeah.
I was like, all right, let's do this. I made a new account, right? My friends were like, yo, you should try to get that account, try harder. And I was like, okay. I was like, no. And then like again, this is where my like competitive. And I was like, you know what? If I can create a third account that also blows up, like that's crazy, right? Like that's how I know like
Yeah, then you know it's
I can
yeah.
really do it, right? So I made a third account, and this like I don't know because it was just the way I was posting, but it grew traction insane. Like it was one day where I literally like I took a screenshot. I had 1.3 million views and 17K followers in one day alone, right?
What
So all
in
right,
one first day posting?
yeah,
Wow.
wow,
So yeah, let's you were talking about your obviously you created a new account, you gained what 17K followers
yeah.
like insanely quick.
So I was like, all right, like nobody can take this away from me, right? Like it's a completely different fan base. It's for motivational purposes only. Like I'm doing what I want. But then at the same time, it's like that old account is still like there. Like it's a remnant of my past, but it's still there, right? And I still liked it. I didn't
Mm,
necessarily like the fan base, but I liked it, right? So then I started changing my content on there too.
yeah.
But it was like I was gaining and losing followers like rapidly, right? Because I was like, I mean, that made sense, right? I was gaining the followers that like my new content, losing the ones that were like
Yeah, I didn't like
toxic,
it. Yeah.
whatever, right? So then that started happening, and then I started kind of posting more of the Islamic content and just
Mm,
better content, not necessarily motivational, but more just so like for the heart, right? And then Alhamdulillah, like that's where I am right now, like where I kind of like yeah, like I was in the past and like it was fun and all, but like I'm a lot happier with the person and the value that my account hold today, I guess.
100%. I mean, I think it shows your character development, right? I mean, how I think you mentioned being cancelled. How was that process? And was it for one of the like the toxic like videos?
Yeah.
Was it people around you just trying to kill you? I know Twitter's crazy. Brown Twitter, especially. I those people are crazy. So
So yeah, so it was like a toxic story time. It was a complete lie. Well, yeah, it was a complete lie, right? It was like a joke, right? But I guess
Yeah.
people just, but brown women just already inherently hate brown men for some odd reason. So I already had a lot of brown women hating me, right? Like it's obvious, right? But again, for
Yeah.
me, for some reason, I was like, you know what? Like I liked it. I liked their reaction because I was like, I'm pissing them off, and they can't do anything about it, right? And it was just funny to
Yeah.
me. Like I actually, like I enjoy chaos like that. I still do, but I just know not to cause it, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I hear you. I hear you.
So
Yeah.
she posted me on Twitter, right? And my friend, like, he sent me the link. He's like, "Yo, like, somebody's trying to cancel you." And I'm like, "Bro," I was like, people posted on me on Twitter before. Like, I've been trying to get canceled. I'm undefeatable, right? I had that egotistical mindset.
Yeah. That mindset.
Yeah, I'm undefeatable, right? Go to sleep. Wake up the next morning. It has 100,000 views, bro. I'm like, what? And my
Wow.
TikTok is getting like spam with, "Oh, you don't know, maybe she got honor killed. Oh, you're a horrible person. This is why brown men
Wow.
deserve the death penalty." And I was like, oh my god.
Yo, yo, that's crazy. Yo.
So I was like, all right, like this is getting out of hand. But I was like, you know what,
Mm,
like, if you don't have haters, you're not doing something right. So I was like, all right, whatever,
mm.
right? Some people are hating on my account. I don't care. I click on that feed again, and people are like, yo, wait, I know him. Yo, I know where he lives. He lives in like Virginia. He goes to George Washington. I was like, whoa, 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 whoa.
Wow. Then it gets deep. It
Yeah,
gets
and I'm like,
personal.
because somebody might like try to carry out something personal against like my house or like hurt one of my family members. So I was like, all right,
Mm.
so I gotta see this stuff. So, but then before that, just like I'm not gonna name names, but somebody from like my own family did not like me at that point, and they took that like moment to take it and run with it. So they made a tweet about me, call me like when I saw that tweet, I was around my friends, and they were like, "Yo, what the hell?" Like it was just like, why would somebody try to lie on my name like this, right? And it was basically
Yeah.
they said they were like he fake praised in front of aunties, and I was like, "Yo, what?" Right? It was like, why would somebody like try to bash on my name? But alhamdulillah, like my friends had my back because they knew me. They've been around me for so long, so they all might have my back. So she just deleted the tweet, so that was good, right? And then I talked to the creator of that tweet, and she was really nice. She was like, "Hey, okay, I get it was a joke, but did you delete it off of your TikTok?" I was like, "Yeah, I deleted it off of my TikTok." She's like, "Okay, so then there's no reason to keep it going." So then she just took it down too. But then that was like,
Mm.
then I made like a small apology video, just like it was a joke, whatever, whatever. And so some people were still trying to hear like, oh no, we don't accept your apology. But like at that point, it was just a matter of time, right? Because there was no video anymore. People were gonna forget, and then
Yeah. It's losing smoke basically.
yeah,
Wow. That how did that feel? Like it must have felt so like one day you're chilling with your friends making TikToks or jokes and then you're cancelled on Twitter, Brown Twitter especially. So
it was weird. And then the funny thing, it was like a lot of people from the brown TikTok community heard about me through that cancellation. And it was funny because like whenever I would meet like a new brown creator or like be a mutual with them, they would always be like, "Yo, you're that guy who got canceled." I'm like, "Yeah." It was weird, but at the end of the day, it was just like now I just look at it and it's just funny to me how like something so small can like, and it wasn't even like I was like being blatantly racist or I hurt somebody's feelings, but like people like you could look at my content and be like, you know what, like it's funny, right? But they were like, nah, screw this brown guy in particular. So
what was the video that got you cancelled in particular? Like what were you saying in it?
so basically it was a story time about how I met like this is all a lie by the way. But basically I said in the story time how I met a girl's like how I saw a girl and her parents that I used to mess with and like how I said
I think I remember this one.
and I was like
Yeah.
listen, I said the part where I was like she did me dirty. I guess they just completely disregarded that part. They're like, nah, he's horrible. Like so then I was like I went to the mom, I greeted her and I was like, hey, I really miss hanging out with you, and I just walked away. And then I said that she got
Yeah.
sent back to Pakistan, and I don't know if they're coming back. That's where the video cut off. Bro,
Oh
they
no.
took it and ran with it. Oh my God.
Oh my days! Now you know what that video I actually remember. I remember seeing it. I think it was like I think most people just think it's a joke. Swipe on and then next video. But some people go crazy with it. So it's not a true story. Then it's not a true story.
Not at all.
Oh man, that's insane. I mean, that's insane. I think that's crazy. But to be fair, let's talk about more TikTok growth. How did TikTok grow? Do you have any like strategies that you would recommend to people, or is it more so just do what you love and what thing you think
Honestly,
works?
bro, honestly, 100% do what you love and do it consistently, right? because like post every day, post different times of the day, post with audios. Like sometimes like if you're just recording a video of like you talking, like TikTok itself, like it might show a few people, but like if they just see a random dude talking with like no audio, like no like caption or no title with the the writers or whatever, like I don't know,
Yeah.
like I'm not gonna watch it, right? But maybe like add a small caption, or like when you know how you can like create subtitles and stuff, not create subtitles,
Yeah, like on text on TikTok.
yeah, a title, like create a title and post it, right? Something that's going to capture people's attention, and then use the audio that fits it. Because like when I used to talk about like kind of just my side experiences or like my deep thoughts, I would use like different like samples or like different sad samples or lo-fi type beats or whatever, right, to play back in the audio, so they would reach that type of people, right? So it's like that type of audio is already kind of connected to a certain type of people, and then when they watch it and they see that like title, they're like, oh, let me watch this video, and then like that, your page is just gonna go grow traction. But honestly, do what you love and do it consistently. And I say this because there's this guy right now. I don't know if you've seen him, but his name is Ephraim, right? Do you know anybody named Ephraim?
Oh, is the gym guy, the mugging one?
Yeah, right. Like
Yeah, I've seen him. Yeah.
everybody in the gym communities knows like this guy like this has no idea what he's doing. He's doing it wrong, or like he's just being odd, right? He's literally like at the beginning of the month he was like 5,000 followers, right? I think today he's like 12,000 or 26,000. I forgot, but like he's a perfect
Wow.
example of do what you love and do it consistently, right? And you will literally grow your account, right? But sometimes, I mean, but at the same time, you have to know like you can't just avoid being controversial completely, like because you can't kind of be afraid to say what you want to say completely. Like even if you have like a certain fan base, say what you want to say, right? Because
Yeah.
just it's whatever, right? It's TikTok because it's like you either blow up or you don't. You either have followers or you don't. And if you're consistent, use audios, captions, titles, reach a certain audience, even maybe promote your page, put it on your Instagram, your Snapchat, whatever. You'll blow up.
I mean, yeah, I think that's good tips. I think consistency is really key. So, I mean, has like you got 100K on TikTok? I mean, you're what 19 years old. Has that really changed anything for you? Or
No, because at the same time, like I try to remind myself, because like also like Islamically, it's very very important to be humble. So
100%?
like
Yeah.
I don't like unless somebody brings up my TikTok in public, like somebody recognizes me or like my friends are joking around, like I will never bring it up, right? Or I like never walk around like I'm something, or like it's not
Yeah.
like when you meet somebody like, yo, yeah, tell me something about you, and I'm like, yeah, I have 100K on TikTok. Like I don't ever bring that up. Like
Yeah.
and I know like there's some people who like have in their Instagram bios who be like, yeah, 160K on TikTok, right? Like I don't do that, right? Like if you find out
Yeah.
or if you know me from TikTok, that's fine. But like other than that, I just want to be treated like a normal person. Like yeah, like if it helps me grow connections, like this video, like or this podcast right here, right?
Mm.
Like alhamdulillah, that's fine. They can DM me, we can talk about it, right? But other than that, like I don't think it makes me any better or worse than anyone else.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's crazy. I think, especially for like 19 years old, that's a good mindset to have. What wanted you to do like motivational stuff? I know you had the story, but you said that long term you want to be a motivational speaker. Is that just for you want to help people? Is there like a Islamic like thing to that?
I
Or
mean, that honestly is just like me personally, because like I kind of know like what it's like to be in a point in time where like you're just like really down bad and like you don't have anything to look up to, or like nothing in your life is just pushing you forward other than literally your own will to live.
yeah,
Especially in this like society, like where people are just like like sometimes people are handing things to them. Like I'm first off, I'm already like a first gen child, right? I have two little sisters. I have one there. Okay, so like I have uh two little sisters, one who's like 5 years old, right? And my parents are like reaching old age already. So
yeah,
like I already have like even on the days where like I was really down bad, I was like, I gotta keep going for them. You know what I mean? So it's like now like that alhamdulillah I reached a place where I can wake up every single day and do what I have to do, even on the days where I have no motivation to do it. It's just like I have that self discipline and that will. I want to help others like reach that position, right? And it's like you can't tell me that like I can't like you people's excuses, like you can't tell me an excuse, right? You can't tell me that you don't have time because I work full time, I go to college full time, I still make time for my family, I still make time for the gym, I still make time for my friends, right? And I would watch anime too. Like I have time for everything. But it's I would stop using my phone so much. Or like you can't tell me that, Like at one point, like I was really fat, right? Like you can't be like, oh I have a really slow metabolism, or I just can't like hold myself back from eating. Yes, you can. You can't use that excuse on me, right? Like you can't. People cannot say any excuse to me because I'm just gonna like I'll probably experience that. Like I've had that happen to me, so I can speak from experience, right? I'm not just making up words. So like it's just like if I've experienced that and I can help people get out of that, then that's what I'm gonna do.
Yeah, I mean, that sounds great. How do people get to that stage, though, like you mentioned, where they wake up, even if they don't have the motivation to have that discipline? What's the process in that? How do people get to that stage?
Honestly, it's just like it's you honestly just have to find a reason for why. Like there's a guy, he's kind of the guy that I try to model my stuff off of. His name is Eric Thomas. He's like the biggest motivational speaker in the world right now. He's like number one. And he said he was like, you need to find a why, and that why needs to drive you. Like so, like for an example, it's like my why. It's and it can't be yourself, because if it's yourself, you're gonna hit something that's bigger than you, and you're gonna fall, right? Like at the time when I was like in high school, right? Like my grades until senior year, they were not that good, right? Like I hated having a job, even though it was only money from my pocket. I hated having a job, whatever, right? And I was selfish because like yeah, I hated it, but like I had a family counting on me. Like I needed to go to college. I needed to get into college. I needed to, have money on the side so I could help my family around the house even, right? So then I realized that I need to stop being selfish and I need to do this for my family, right? So like my why became my mother, my father, and my two sisters, right? So if they're what I'm doing this for, on the days where I woke up and I don't want to do anything, they're still in the house with me, right? So I still have to do it for them. Cause like I think the craziest, bro, like even my friends saw me, like I was so drained. I think in my spring semester, and so like last semester of college, bro,
Yeah.
like during like the finals, bro, it was Ramadan, right? So I was already fasting one day.
So you're fasting, yeah.
I was sleeping like 4 hours or less a night, like because
Wow.
Tarawih, right, fasting,
Yeah.
waking up early. I was sleeping less than 4 hours a night. I was still working full time, and I was still going to
Wow.
college every single morning, right? And my friends were like, are you okay? And I was like, yeah, I'm fine, right? And like sometimes when we would hang out and like I would just be dozing off, or like like it looked like I was literally dying. They're like, yo, are you good? I'm like, yeah, I'm good. Because like at that time, like finals and Ramadan, it wasn't gonna last forever. It was just that 1 month. So if I can
It
push,
was just that 1 month you
yeah.
had to push through.
So if I
Yeah.
can push through this 1 month, then it'll be smooth sailing. Like that's what I did. Like I found my wife. Like even on the days where I didn't want to, my family was still there. It's like that would push me.
What would you say to the people who think it's never going to end? They think they're trapped. They think they're like in a bubble where they can't get out.
That honestly, bro, that's probably one of the most depressing feelings ever. Because like you don't know if it's gonna get better, but it's like the way that I used to start thinking about it was like if you're alive today, right? Like if you're just alive, that means you've like overcome 100% of your bad days, right? Like if you're alive, then like you overcame yesterday, no matter how hard it was, or like the past year or whatever. And like if you're strong enough to do that, right? And it's like Eric Thomas also, he said he was like, if you're going through hell, right? If you're going through hell, why would you stop there? Like, why would you stop in hell, right? You would want to keep pushing till you're out of it. Because if I push so hard to get to a certain point and I feel like it's still like I'm burning all around me, if I stop there, I'm going to be burning forever, right? But if I keep pushing, if I keep on pushing forward, if I don't let my own life end, if I, like, keep on waking up every morning, one day I'm going to make it out. One day. And, like, it's just like, like, you don't want to stop, especially when you're down, because you don't want that to be your stopping point in life. You know what I mean?
Wow, I think that's very inspirational. I think that's great. That's definitely a quote that can be used anywhere, a little story that can be used everywhere. But yeah, I mean, I think it's clear as well, looking through your page, that the gym plays a massive part on mental health, a massive part in your self-improvement journey. So how, like, did you just one day go to the gym, your friends say go to the gym, and then it just happened there? Was it a cycle, or
So
yeah?
originally I was massively insecure about my body and I didn't like it and also like I wasn't really necessarily allowed to play sports in high school because like I had like head surgery like in my seventh grade
Wow,
and that like prevented me from playing a lot of sports. So I needed something, right? And I needed an outlet, like a healthy outlet, right? Like I can't be in my room all day like stuck and depressed. I needed an outlet. So that became the gym for me. I started going to the gym like 2.5 years ago, and first it was just like working out or working out what I want. And like, you know, when you're beginner at the gym, you don't really know a lot. So it's just
Yeah, you don't know what you're doing.
but at one point it just became a form of like whenever I would be mad, I would go to the gym. Right. Whenever I would be sad, I would go to the gym. Like after it, I would just feel better about myself because I'm doing something to improve myself. So it was just like it just became a healthy outlet for me, right? And like if me and my parents were like on a rough stone or whatever, I would go to the gym, work out, come home, and be a lot calmer at that point. And it's like, and it's not just something you're doing, right? Like when you do it, you see the result, right? Like if I'm going to the gym every day to a healthy outlet, I'm gonna see the results on my own body, and it's gonna make me feel better about myself. So that's just what it became.
Wow, I mean, yeah, I think a lot of people like misunderstand how a lot of people don't even know what they're doing in the gym when they start. Like, I feel like everyone's also saying, "Oh, I don't know what I'm going to do in the gym. Why would I go to the gym?" But it's obviously a form of therapy, right?
It's a very, very good form of therapy. Like even now, like whenever I feel like my emotions are just getting a little too heavy, like I'll just go harder in the gym, right? Because it's like whatever thoughts, like some people, you'll hear people say like the day where they're in like the most mental pain is the day where they can lift like the heaviest weight, and like it's
Yeah,
honest,
yeah.
it's like it's very, very true, right? Because when you're just going through something and you can take out like it's like you can take all of your emotions and put it in your hands and just go use it at the gym, right? Because you're not hurting anyone but
Mm,
yourself. But when you're hurting yourself in the gym, you're also progressing because of that. When you're tearing your muscles, you're growing, right?
100%, yeah.
So that's just what it became. And also like you're not like the knowledge that I have now, bro, is insane compared to the knowledge that I had when I was a beginner. And that's just the way it is. That's just the way the gym works. Whenever anybody starts, you're gonna start with the most basic principles, if even that. But when you keep on going, when you start talking, when you like start meeting people in the gym, the community, when you start talking around, when you start doing your own research, then you're gonna develop your own eating plan. Then you're gonna develop your own workout plans and stuff like that. So it's just things come with time. So like the way that I am right now, like so in the first 2 years, my progression not that much, but in the next 2 years, I'll look completely insane because I know exactly what I need to do from here on out. You know what I mean?
You knew how your body works,
Yeah.
yeah. Wow, yeah. I think how do people get so? Is it more of like just going to the gym, putting the work in, and then understanding your body?
It's that. I mean, there's a few very, very basic principles, right? Like if you want to gain weight, you eat more calories than you maintain. If you want to lose weight,
Yeah.
then you just eat like less calories, right? It's like basic principles like that. But then it's just like kind of finding out how your body works and reacts to certain things, right? Like how does your body react to your own maintenance? Maybe you need to eat a little bit less, right? How do you feel when you eat certain things, or what workouts work for you and what workouts do not work for you, right? Like there are workouts that I used to do that I don't do anymore because like they don't like they might work for other
Exactly.
people, but they don't work for me. So it's just like doing things that like you feel a better muscle contraction, or you do them and they feel better on your like legs. Like one thing that I used to do is so I deadlift, I squat, and I deadlift and I squat relatively heavy, right? So first my stance used to be a lot wider, right? But when I would lift, assume I guess you would call it like a sumo position, right? But that
Yes, yeah.
would target a lot more of my inner quads or just my quad area in general because sumo focuses a lot more on legs and conventional puts a lot more stress on your lower back, right?
Mm,
So when I would do sumo deadlifts and then squat like the next day, like I couldn't go 100% on both days because when I would squat, that's purely your quads, right? Quads, hamstrings. And when you deadlift, you're also using like your inner quads. So I was already sore, so I couldn't utilize both. So I switched it up. Now I do conventional deadlift and I squat. So now, like when I deadlift, I don't feel it in my inner quads anymore. I feel it more on my lower back. And then when I squat, I can squat heavy because my legs are still like fully recovered. You know what I mean? So like I would have
yeah.
never found that out if I didn't play around in the gym and I found out what works for me. You know what I mean? And like
Exactly. It's all about a process, right?
yeah,
Yeah, I mean, I think it is a process, especially with the gym, because everyone's body is different. Like, you see that Efrain guy getting a lot of hate, but I
yeah.
mean, for him, it might work. It might work. So, yeah, let's talk a little bit about immigrant parents, because I know this is a topic that you're very fond of. I've seen it on your TikTok a lot. What are your opinions on that? Is that immigrant parents get too much hate? Do we not understand them enough?
Yeah, cause okay, bro. Like I tell my mom this a lot now. I'm like, when I was a kid, I never really understood why you guys did the things you did. But like now that I'm like older, like I can
Mm,
see from your point of view. Like there's still things that I don't necessarily agree on, right? And I'm gonna voice my opinions. But like I understand why you guys did the things that you did and why you're so hard on me, right? Like like my dad, like me and my dad, we're a lot more closer than we used to be, right? Because like I've taken the time to understand him, right? Like my dad, bro, like he's like the second oldest son. Man's had to come to America, start a family, like
yeah,
figure out how a way to get me and my mom here. He had to figure out all these things, right? So it's just like when you look at and like my dad's like working like 16-hour shifts just to like help us out. And it's just like when I see that and I'm like, you know what, my dad's working really hard. My dad's such a good person, like and my when we think about it, we always like, y'all, our parents don't know how to show us physical affection, like, because the thing is, they didn't know that when they were young. They were grown like purely bred in facts. Like they didn't know, like physical affection or love, like in that sense, right? Their love is I'm gonna work hard for my children so I can put
yeah.
them through a good life. You know what I mean? I'm gonna work hard for my children so I can set them up to have a good life, right? That's the way they think. So when I kind of started to understand this is the way that they see things in life, so I need to, I'm going to be able to help them. You need to take time to understand your parents, and you like, your parents are human. So even if sometimes when they're wrong, you need to take the time to learn and be like, you know what, this is how I understand them. Like
Mm,
do not try to like one up your parents or get in fights. Like, just try to understand them, be calm with them, love them, show them that you care for them even on days that you don't want to. It's
yeah.
'cause- and then if you want to mend the relationship with your parents, you have to try. You can't expect your parents to do everything for you, You need to also reach out. You need to try and talk to them. You need to try and spend time with them because that's only going to benefit you. You know what I mean?
Mm, mm,
Let's say that if you and your parents are on a bad stepping stone or on like just a bad phase and you just ignore them, you don't talk to them, you avoid them, that's not going to make them feel any better about you. But if you're on a bad stepping stone and you try to spend time with them, you show them that you care, they're going to be like, you know what, maybe I was wrong this kid. Like they might not say it, but they feel it, right? And then they'll reciprocate that. And like now, bro, like alhamdulillah, like I'm in the best like phase. I can joke around with my father, I can joke around with mom,
mm.
like we're in the best because I took the time to understand them and realize like, yo, this is what they wanted from me. This is why they did the things that they did. So I need to learn. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think I agree. I think a lot of people, they just blame, very like it's a victim mentality sort of. But when you take the time to understand and appreciate, I feel like the relationship will get a lot better. How did you find how did you understand their pains, their struggles? How did you find the time to do that? Or how was the process?
I mean, it was like when like I said, like I used to hate working, right? But then I saw the way how hard my father worked, right? And I was like, I can't let them have all that stress by himself, right? And if I
Mm,
can work just for my own pocket money, like even that's helping him. You know what I mean? Like so he doesn't
yeah.
have to give me money every time I go out or whatever like that. And so it was that, and then it was kind of just look. It's like looking at your parents and just be like, you know what, why are they because people will try to understand each other, right? Like kids in their own school, like why are they the way they are? What have they went through? And it's just like I
Yeah.
did the same thing with my parents. Like why are my parents the way they are? Like how did culture affect them? How did society affect them? And maybe it's not just like life isn't all about me. I have to care and understand
Mm.
them. So like I try spending more time with them, trying getting to know them, talk to them, and basically that's how it came about. Like that's how my understanding of them came.
So it's more so putting yourself in their shoes, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's something we all need to do. When it comes to like, how can we help our parents more than how can we what other than putting ourselves in our shoes, what can we do to like further mend the relationship?
For the men, bro, honestly, try to love them. Like, or just even when they don't love you, try to love them, right? Like, even when they're arguing with you, you don't argue back and you use a soft tone. If they're yelling at you, don't yell back at them.
Don't argue back, yeah.
Yeah, like yeah, it's like, oh, you know what? They're older than me. Why are they yelling at me? Okay, I get it, right? But you yelling at them is not gonna solve the situation at all, right? It's not. It's just not. So sometimes you will have to, be the bigger person. And it sounds so weird to say like the child being the bigger person. It's true, but you have to do that sometimes. You have to sacrifice your own pride for them, right? Like it's like say, your family is home one day, but you don't feel like spending time with them because you just want to be alone that day. Well, that's fine, but they don't know you want to be alone. They don't know you're upset. And sometimes we don't really like sharing our feelings. So now in their mind, they're just like, oh, he doesn't want to come down and spend time with me, right? But like, even if you don't want to spend time, swallow it up, put a happy face on, even when you don't want to, and go downstairs. Because eventually in the future, that's going to help that relationship a lot more than you think, right? Because when you show them that you're putting effort, they're gonna feel a lot better towards you.
Mm, I think 100%. I think it's we both people get it mistaken that only the parents have to make the sacrifice, but
Yeah.
sometimes we also have to make our sacrifices. But let's talk a little bit more about you. What golden nuggets do you carry on like through life? Is there any certain principles that you really hold yourself to?
Certain principles, I honestly, when it comes to certain principles, I just try to, it's like, they're a lot more Islamic than necessarily not, right? It's just like, I try not to hurt anybody, like, even when I'm hurt, like, that, like, the rule goes with my parents, if they yell at you, don't yell back, right? Like, because when you're Muslim, bro, well, like,
Mm,
having the Quran, right, having the Hadith, looking up subjects in the in Islam, it's literally like a written textbook for success, right? Because
yeah.
like it literally, like in the ayah, this is one thing, and it says that give your parents the best, right? The best, and it's just like you think about, like, people will be like, for my parents like this, and this, and then like you'll think about the story of Ibrahim alayhi salam, right? His dad was a literal, he was a literal, like, idol worshiper, right? Like he was a kafir, right? He didn't even believe in God. Yeah, when he spoke to him, like, when they talk about the dialogue between the father and the son, he spoke to his father with so much respect. Like he'd say, "Ya abati," like with love, right? And it's like, if he can do that to somebody who's literally not even Muslim, right?
Mm,
And might even have heard Ibrahim alayhi salam. If he can do that, then why can't I? You know what I mean? And it's like
wow. Yeah.
that. And then, like, also when it comes back to, like, if you're a Muslim and you're just having hard days, right, or you feel like you can't get through these, there's in Surah Baqarah, there's an ayah, and it says that, it's a very famous ayah, and it says that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he doesn't burden a soul with more than they can bear, right? He
Mm,
doesn't burden a
yeah.
soul with more than they can. So if he's saying that, so it's like your battles, your struggles were custom made for you, right? So like when I'm going through a struggle, I'm like, you know what? This might be a struggle for me, but God knew that I could make it through. And if God believes in me, then why wouldn't I believe in myself? You know what I mean? It's just like, it's so odd to think it like that. So it's just like, know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has your back. And it's just like,
Mm,
it's just Islam, right? I try to implement Islam in any one of my, whenever I'm in confliction or my morals are kind of being questioned, when somebody's mean to me, and it's just like, what do I do now, right? It's just like, think about what the Prophet ﷺ would do, what the prophets would do,
wow.
how would they behave, how would a good Muslim behave, and not just do that.
Wow. I think that's insane. Was that like a gradual process, or have you always been like that, or what was it like?
Very, very. So originally, so it started like in like random, like eighth grade, like some random month. I was just like looking up into Islam, looking up a lot of lectures, right?
Yeah.
And that, like, I just started learning a lot more about Islam. And like the first thing that I always try to perfect is my salah, like my prayer, right? Always
Mm,
try to pray, bro. It doesn't matter how bad the day is. It doesn't matter how bad busy you are, or how much you feel like you've sinned that day. Just pray, like, because prayer is
mm,
the foundation. Like if you pray, bro, everything else will come. And I'm an example of that because I just tried to perfect my prayer in eighth grade, right? That following summer, like, there was a masjid near me and it had like programs, right? And it was like, we need volunteers. My mom was like, go volunteer. I didn't want to, but I was like, all right, whatever. So I went to
yeah.
volunteer. Met other Muslims that are my age, right? There was like these three other Muslims that I met, right? And we would be there, like, it was a weekend. It was called summer school. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, we would be there in the mornings helping the kids, playing games with the kids, just learning with the kids, right? And it's just
Yeah.
like that, growing through that. And then we would have Saturday lectures, and then other things. And just like that, like my love for Islam and my Islamic knowledge was just growing and growing, right? And then it's just like when you also realize that you're gonna die, like one day we won't be here anymore, and you don't know when that day is, you're more inclined to do that the quicker that you can, right? You like not put it off, because some people will be like, you know what, when I'm older or when I'm ready, but like you could die before you're ready.
We could die before
Yeah,
that.
you could
Yeah.
die before you're ready. So alhamdulillah, it was a very, very gradual change. But the fact is that I was trying. you know, that I was trying. Even though I was struggling, I was trying. And
Mm.
so that's how it became. And like eventually, like alhamdulillah, like now, bro, like since I've been like now I'm 19, I started going when I was like 14 to the mosque. Bro, alhamdulillah, I've grown such a good reputation with all the parents and their kids. And like even now, bro, the kids are like all grown up from like the summer school and weekend school from my freshman year. But they'll come and hug me. Cause like they're like, yo, you were our favorite
Oh,
volunteer.
dear.
I always grab their head and like ruffle their hair like this. And it's just like it's like just a random love. And their parents were always like, there was this one time, right? I will never forget it. This random kid, he came up to me and hugged me. I was like, all right, whatever. So I hugged him back. And his father came and he was like, you know what? And he was talking to his son. He was like, this guy's like, he's a good example, right? He's like, follow him, listen to him. Like, he didn't even know me, but like, I guess just from
Yeah.
what he's seen. And like now, bro, like there was like now I alternate with other people my age, but from September until I guess like what in March from 2020 September to like March of this year, bro. I was giving Friday khutbas every single week for Jummah, bro. I was
Mm.
literally leading Jummah right at 19, and it's insane. But like
That's insane.
at age 14, I never would have thought of that, right? I never would have thought that by my age 19, by the literally the year after I graduated high school, I would be giving Jummah khutbahs, right? Having little old men with like gray beards, like reading behind me, right? So it's just
That's
like,
insane.
if I can do, especially like if I can do that with my history, then anybody can do that. You know what I mean? It's just that just hold fast and pray, bro. Like if I can give one advice, just pray, man. Just always pray. Even if it's one prayer a day, just pray.
Wow. Just pray. What's one thing that you regret, and how did you learn from it?
What's one thing that I regret, and how do I learn from it? Honestly, bro, do not engage in free mixing, right? Like
Mm.
wallahi, bro, there's nothing good that comes with engaging the opposite gender. There's nothing good that comes with like even like friendships, bro. Because like being honest, like what are you gonna get, right? Like there's absolutely nothing that you're gonna get from another opposite gender, like a friendship that you couldn't have with a friendship of your homies, or just like a relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, right? Like what is there, right? Because it's just like if anything, it's just gonna lead you down a dark path to a path where you regret it, where you're grown up and you're like, man, you know what? Like you're a grown up now you're looking for marriage and you're like, you know what? I wish I hadn't done that mistake in my past. You know, I wish I hadn't
Yeah.
with those people in my past, right? And it's just like if you don't want, like, if you can't imagine your future wife behaving like that, then why are you behaving like that, right? So like now it's
Mm.
just like, well, like I literally like there's been times where my friends were going out, and I'm like, yo, are there gonna be girls there? And they're like, yeah, and I just won't go. I'm like, I don't
Wow.
want to go, right? Like I don't.
Um,
And if I do go and there are girls there, like 2 weeks ago I went to a basketball tournament, right? There were girls there. I literally stayed with only my guys, right? Like if
mm.
I was in the area and then just like a lot of girls came into that area, I would just leave, right? Because it's like there's
Wow.
nothing that good that comes from that. There's literally nothing that's good. Like you see so many people like filing restraints or filing like he assaulted me and like there's a battle and who do you believe? But guess what? That whole situation could have been avoided if you had just never free mixed. If you just don't engage in
Mm.
those activities, right? Never be alone with a woman. Never go somewhere and like it's just keep to yourself, keep to your homies, and if you need to, have a relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Like talk to him, right? Let him be your therapy. And like things will be
Yeah.
better. So my only mistake I guess in my fast is that like I used to free mix a lot, right? Just like have a lot of opposite gender friends and like hang out with them. Like that's the only thing that I regret.
Wow. What would you say to the people who say that's too hard in this time's generation? Free mixing, it's just inevitable now. What would you say to that?
I would say, well, yes, it is inevitable because we go to co-ed schools, we work, I have jobs, I have female coworkers, right? But
Mm.
keep it practical, right? Keep it practical. You don't need to try to find a way to talk to them. You don't need to find a way to joke with them or create like an actual relationship with them. You don't need to do that. And like it comes back to that ayah, and it's like the Quran is a book for all time, right?
Yeah.
There's never a point in time where the Quran's going to be false or like there needs to be an alteration to the Quran. There's never going to be one. It was a book written for all time. So it
100%.
comes back to that ayah in Surah Baqarah where it says that if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, if he knows that if he never burdens a soul more than they can carry, right? So I don't believe some tell me no, I can't free mix, because if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, if he wrote it, if you can't free mix, that he knew that every soul who wanted to, they would avoid free mixing, right? And yeah, if you have to talk to them, right? But like in terms of like actual contact or like hugging or like being alone with them, like don't. And it's gonna be but wallahi, it's gonna be awkward, because like I'll give you an example, right? Like at that basketball tournament, I met somebody who I used to be a friend. Like I guess I'm still like friends with them, right? Like we still know each other, right? But basically, we hadn't seen each other in like a long time. This was like we saw each other like before COVID, right? So like when she saw me, like she tried giving me a hug, and like it was awkward because like I was just like going for like a fist bump.
Yeah.
And then it felt awkward, but bro, like these are things that we're gonna have to do, right?
Yeah.
Like I felt awkward, but like I backed up and I just like I held up my fist like this. I was like fist bump, right?
How did that go?
Yeah, and it was awkward. She was like, "Oh no, I'm sorry, I'm sorry." And it's just like, yeah, it's weird, but these are things that you're gonna have to do. And now that she knows that, okay, this guy's respectful, and now she knows how to interact with you. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's just that one instance.
You need to start setting your own boundaries for yourself, and it's gonna be awkward, but it's gonna be worth it. Because you don't want to be questioned about this on the day of judgment, bro. Like you don't.
No, just little trivial matters, right? What's one message you would give to other brown people, other first generation immigrants?
Wow, it's very hard, because like they all struggle with like different but similar problems, and they all have different mindsets, right? Different ways they go about things. But it's honestly just brown in general. Like again, not everybody's like brown is Muslim, but like a big part of them are. So like, bro, just let Islam into your life, right? Like learn your Islamic rights, learn what you owe to others and what others owe to you. You know, learn how to be a better Muslim. Because once you learn that, bro, nothing in this world can stop you. Literally nothing. Because it's like if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has your back, like who's against you? You know what? Who can be against you? And like if something bad happens that you don't want it to happen, but you know that this might have been better in the eyes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala than it would have been for me, then it's okay, right? Like if I can avoid it, if this is for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then I can do it, right? So yeah, it's just let Islam into your life. Start researching Islam. You know, just what can I do to be a better Muslim? What are small things? Like literally, bro, what I do. So there's this like series on YouTube from Numan Ali Khan, right? He like looks for one ayah in like every juz, and he just talks about it. So like I just know to myself, like look at one of those videos every day. It's not a lot. It's not a lot, but it's something. It's something that's gonna keep you on that path to better. So to every like brown person out there, like possibly Muslim, let Islam into your life, and your life will get better.
That's powerful. That's very powerful. I think one point you mentioned earlier was that Asian women just hate Asian men. I see that a lot on TikTok. How do we deal with that stuff as well? Like, I mean, I see it all the time. You've seen Go Avanish's stuff recently too. That's been going crazy. So, yeah, I mean, how have you dealt with that?
I try to remind myself that they're not talking to me, because would they hate somebody? Like, it's like their hate it is weird. I feel like it's just misplaced, and I guess their hate for the relationship was with their father. They just hate all brown men in general, and I just try to remind myself, like, you know what? I'm not like that. Like, you know what, bro? Like brown women will talk about like how brown men will like smoke, drink, commit zina, and then like it's and I'm like, bro, like what do you mean? Like literally, bro, none of my friends, wallahi, none of my friends, we don't engage in that, bro. Like what? Because we know what is the point in that. Right? We hold ourselves accountable. Literally, bro, we'll be outside and like this was one time we were in Washington D.C., right? Like the capital, right? And we're just strolling and we're like, yo, it's Maghrib time. Let's start praying. We start praying in that grass field, and wallahi, some like random strangers come up behind us and they start praying with us, right? And it's just like. It's like these are the things, like they're not even talking. So I try to remind myself that they're not talking to me. You know, they want to talk about the guys who smoke and drink. I don't smoke and drink, so I don't care, right? So I just like if I see a video like that, like sometimes I like laugh at it, like haha, and like I just scroll, right? But if they talk about something that's like obviously just wrong, if it's just they're just talking about something that's just obviously wrong, then try to talk to them, but not necessarily like, oh, you can make a video about it, stitch it, but be respectful, because you're never gonna change somebody by being rude. And there's an example, like an example, literally this past week. So this girl, she posted something, and this video
Yeah.
in general, it was just promoting fitna, right? And it was just promoting sins and publicizing somebody's sin, and I didn't like that. So I commented, I was like, yo, don't publicize somebody's sin. But like in commenting that, I guess it's like, and the replies and the comments, it just got to a point where I got angry. So I started like, like you don't even do the bare minimum wearing a hijab. Like, why are you like publicizing somebody else's sin? And like, that's not gonna get her any closer to the point where I'm trying to reach. So I was like, you know what, like this is wrong. So I deleted my like that and commented the entire thread. I followed her. She followed me back, and I messaged her privately. I was like, yo, my apologies. Like, I was wrong. I didn't mean to let my feelings get in the way of that. And then she apologized too. And then she just took the video down. But like me getting mad at her didn't fix the situation. But me like talking to her privately and trying to like be like, yo, I acknowledge my own wrongs. So I didn't like in that I didn't call her in the DMs. I didn't call her out in any way. I said that I was wrong, and I hope you can forgive me. And that, and me asking forgiveness for myself, she realized, she asked for forgiveness, and then she just took the video down. Like it's small things like that. Remind yourself that they're not talking to you, and if you have to advise them, do it in a manner where it's nice, where it's caring. And obviously, not all people are going to understand. Some people are going to still hate regardless. But just do what you can. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think you said something powerful there by advising her instead of blatantly calling her out. Is that something you feel like we should do more? Because if you see like a lot of majority of brand creators, they go through some hate, and a lot of them is judgment. So, would you think? How do you go? How do you think is the right way to give like someone advice?
Honestly, just privately, bro. Cause like, or sometimes like no, like I started calling out brown guys on TikTok. Cause like now I realize like why brown men hate us, and it's just like I was seeing some brown like guys, Muslim men, making like some TikToks about like marriage and wedding nights and whatever, and it's just like yo, like
Oh
have some
yeah, yeah,
like
yeah.
have
Relax, yeah.
and I'm like, yo, have some haya, right? Like, have some haya, and let's say you need to call out your own the own brown men in your community if you want to see an actual change. Like the men need to start calling out the other men who are in the wrong for us to actually see a change, right? Because like when you see a girl calling you out, you're just gonna like okay, whatever, right? I'm gonna do it again. But if you see like another one of your Muslim fellow brothers saying that this is wrong, you're like, yo, like okay, like this is kind of wrong. So let me not do it. You know what I mean? So we need to
Yeah.
start changing ourselves and try to start changing each other, so they don't try to hate on us. And if they do something that we don't approve of, honestly, if you can't reach them, because like in that specific situation, like I followed her and she followed me back, so that situation worked out perfectly, right?
Yeah.
If she hadn't followed me back, then I don't know what I would have done. So if there's something that bothers you, just ignore it. Like, well, like I'll see like a girl wearing a hijab one video and not a hijab the next, or she'll be wearing a hijab and then doing a dance, right? And like
Yeah.
honestly, like I'll just click not interested, or I'll just scroll, because in that
Mm,
situation I can't advise them without them turning on me, right? There's no like situation like if I have to, like if I feel like it's just like, extremely wrong, I'll just be like you represent Islam, like Muslims represent Islam, and that's all I will comment. Nothing negative, nothing
mm.
positive. I'll just be like Muslims represent Islam. Period. That's it, right? And then like that sentence in general, like what I'm trying to say, but I'm not being mean towards you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I hear that. What would you say to the people who are just like, you just gotta like do you, and commenting, even speaking to these people is just not gonna work?
It's
Because
just
I've seen a lot on comments that like, oh, don't judge, don't judge. So what are your feelings towards that?
I'm not going to be held accountable for the Muslims that I tried that I couldn't save, I guess. Because you're going to be held accountable for yourself and the people
Yeah.
that you could change, right? Like some random girl dancing on TikTok, some random guy, making an inappropriate joke. I'm not going to be held accountable for him, because it's like I knew it was wrong, and I try not to do that myself, and I try to prevent others from doing it. So I'm not going to be held accountable for that on the day of judgment. So I don't let it affect me, right? But obviously, we
Mm,
should, because like when people keep on saying, don't judge, we in a sense we kind of have to judge, because if we let our Muslim brothers and sisters go astray, then we're at fault. If we let them all go astray, and we let them this don't judge mentality come in, right? So when people do that, or when people use these like stupid excuses, right? Realize that, can you Like, can you talk to them? Are they the type of person that you can talk back to and maybe help them understand? If yes, be kind to them, help them understand that. If not, then just still be respectful. Be respectful, but just let it go. Like, it's because it's not gonna work. It's literally not.
It's not worth it. Wow. I mean, yeah, I 100% agree with you. Sometimes it gets to the point where it's not worth it.
Yeah.
But I mean, it was great talking to you. Do you have any lasting messages? Any one thing you want to leave off on? Or
This is pretty much going to the brown people. Like, again, just like let Islam into your life, and wallahi, your life will change, bro. That's all. That's like my parting message, I guess.
well, I mean, it was great talking to you, Houdini. Yeah, man. Follow at the Brown Hustle for this, and if you want to drop your socials too, we'll leave that in the description and whatnot.
The description right here. And the
Oh no, just say it out loud, and I'll include it in the description.
If you guys want to follow like a motivational account, it's like Houdini Reborn, and if you just guys want to follow like my main account, it's BrownHoudini. But yeah, it was nice talking to you guys.
But yeah, man, it was a great episode. Catch you guys next week.